It's a handbook. I want you to say, I'm thinking of valuation and go read up on valuation, or I'm getting a term sheet, or I'm thinking of starting a process and you go read. You know what I mean? I want people it to be like that kind of like a textbook. I told my mom I wanted to write a book when I was sick, and she thought, "Oh dear God, Monica's writing a life story." It's to impart the knowledge that I think is necessary to be out there. If you're an American founder, you just Google, the answers are for Google. But if you're African, those Google answers are not for you. We need an African answer to African questions.
If you joined us last week, you met the incredible Monica Shupikai Simmons, global investment banker, author, mom, and all-round powerhouse, as we unpacked her journey from Harare to Oxford, from corporate boardrooms to rediscovering her purpose in Africa. In part 2, we pick up right where we left off, diving into her book, What's the Deal, Africa, and exploring the realities of raising capital on the continent, the mindset founders need to thrive, and what it really means to live with courage and conviction. We also talk about balance, motherhood, work, gardening, and that constant struggle to switch off. And of course, we couldn't end without Chenai's famous Zombipocalypse question. So settle in. This is part 2 of our extraordinary conversation with Monica Shupikai Simmons.
So, Monica, you have advised African businesses across all continents, but at some point, I guess you realized one-on-one advice isn't enough, and you actually wrote a book, which is a huge feat. What sparked the idea for What's the Deal, Africa? What made you say this book needs to exist and I'm the one to write it?
Okay, so it was a combination of things, actually. I always thought one of the tragedies within the African ecosystem for startups was that we have so many entrepreneurs, and I'm talking hundreds of thousands across the continent, who all want to do this incredible thing. They all want to uplift and take care of their communities, solve our problems, but they don't know how. They don't have the money. They don't have the capital to do it. And I always thought it was sad that the people who do know about how to raise the money are the people lending the money. So the smart Africans who are in the ecosystem are either the entrepreneurs or the investors. And no one is actually on the side of the founder to help the founder make the right investment decision, because all investments are not created equal. And I saw this from day one. And, you know, we didn't get into the career, like how I got to be where I am in my career, but yeah. Okay. So I always tell the story that I was UC grad. I started finance and accounting. And then, because remember, I got my PwC scholarship when it was time to graduate, my family had moved, which we talked about. And so I had to go and live in England because that's where my family was. So I had to speak to PwC about taking my, when you get a scholarship, you go work for them. Instead of working in Zimbabwe, in Harare, could I go and work in England? And they arranged it. And when I got there, it was very interesting. There were no Black people. So it's a whole other thing. But it was a very good learning experience about finance. I started learning about how finance works and money. No one teaches you about money, and that's a whole other discussion. But I could see how money was working in the UK and how people make money from transactions as opposed to selling widgets, which is what I'd always thought was how you made money. Anyway, when I qualified as a chartered accountant, they asked me where I wanted to do a secondment. It's very important, especially in the UK office, for people to have international experience because London is a global hub for finance. And so having understanding of how other jurisdictions do their accounting and finance is really helpful. So most people go to Australia, some people go to Canada, whatever it is. And I said I wanted to go to the US. I'd always had an interest in the US. It was after Enron. So there was a big need on their end to kind of over audit. and I was keen. So I volunteered to go to New York. It was a 2-year secondment, but I ended up staying for 12 years.
You lived in New York
Yeah,
for 12 years?
Yeah, forever.
Wow.
I went to what, 2000, oh God, 2003? Something like that? Oh God, a million years. Let's not talk about these age things. I start sounding very old, but I was there for a million years, like just forever. I started working in audit, then I went into financial advisory, and then I went into valuations, and then ended up in M&A. And all these moves were not like big decisions. They were just driven by interest. Hey, that looks interesting. Let me do that. That looks interesting. Let me do that. And when I wanted to do the M&A work, I couldn't do it within PwC. And anyone who knows about these big firms, they make it really difficult to move within departments. It was just easy to cross the street. So I ended up working with Deloitte and in the M&A practice, which is within Deloitte Consulting. I really enjoyed the work that they were doing. They were doing a lot of restructuring work. I got to see up close companies wind down. It was very painful. I remember when I started, I was like, why are there only 2 women partners in this group? Is there some kind of sexism? I was all sassy back then. And then it took me 6 months to realize it's very tough emotionally because all you're doing is firing people.
Restructuring. I did a few restructuring and transformation projects when I was at McKinsey. It's
not fun. I mean, you can do the work, technical stuff, but it's not fun laying off people. It was just really hard. And I was like, oh my God. So anyway, so the last job that I worked on when I was at Deloitte was the BP oil spill. And it was in the news. Everybody knew about that. Yeah, we were on the team on the ground. Our job was to strip the assets, sell the assets, and to use the money to pay off claims because it was a big deal.
Who knew there was a Zimbabwean there helping clean up?
Yeah.
When I see Zimbabweans go to some really random places.
And I worked my ass off tonight because I wanted to make director that year. I was like gung-ho. I slept with my laptop. I worked my ass off and I didn't get promoted. And I was like, what? I had all the comments. I was furious. And then they said to me, well, Monica, you're sitting within the consulting practice and you don't have an MBA. And, in the consulting practice, an MBA is what, I was like, oh, okay, that's, it was probably a cop out, but I was like willing to take it. So how do we fix this? You need to do an MBA. Sounds simple. And so because I'd been there for a few years, they were going to pay for it. So it was just pick a spot and, and I thought, well, my family is in the UK and, if I'm going to do 2 years something, I might as well spend time with my family. I might as well, whatever. So it became, I'm going to do it in the UK. And then I ended up at Oxford. And that was just amazing. And their program is about being the change you want to see. Leadership, being the change.
Went to Said.
Yes, I did. And yeah, it was very much leadership. It's like, if not you, then who? It was the mantra. And I was like, there's a situation and what can we do about it? Whatever it was. And so they would ask us every quarter, what's the change you want to see in the world and what are you going to do about it? And when you start, it's silly. Yeah? People would make jokes. Somebody said world peace. It was just jokes. By the time you graduate, you take the question very, very seriously. And I realized, wait a minute, I'm from Africa. I care about Africa. I want Africans to be able to solve our own problems. Right now, companies are starting and growing and they're doing well. There was this McKinsey report, Lions on the Proud. The Pride thing. African Renaissance was coming out of South Africa. There was just a big drive for Africa to kind of take care of ourselves. And I was like, I want to be a part of that. And I've got a skill set that would really be beneficial. So if I know how to sell 100% of a company in the US, I think I can sell 30% of a business on the continent. And that's called a capital raise. So I didn't want to do M&A because I knew like parties like Carlyle that come in, they were trying to do deals on the continent. They weren't enough, so they couldn't sustain it. There was just a lot of try and fail because we were still nascent. The whole ecosystem was just baby.
There weren't enough targets that were like institutional size, institutional grade. That level of capital that they're looking to deploy, just they don't find enough stuff.
Exactly. So just in speaking, as we're saying now, that means the answer is growth capital, right? If we're trying to get from here to there, we need growth capital. So I was fixated on growth capital for African founders. And I keep using the word founders as opposed to African businesses because I care about the founders. They can have multiple businesses, one business, whatever, but it's the founder that I'm there to support in their decision making. So I knew I wanted to do that. And so when I graduated, I was like, okay, let me go find this job. Let me do this thing. And when I quit, by the way, by the time I quit Deloitte, my family thought I was crazy. Like, are you seriously giving up on that money? And, my mom loved to say, hey, you should go to America, all that stuff. And here I am going, actually, I want to be here working in Africa. It was just so off-brand. And I had spent a lot of time in my early career trying to blend in as much as possible. And here I was doing everything to stand out as being, so like, I tell everyone, I'm your Africa girl. If you want to do anything in Africa, you come to me. Anything to do with money in Africa, you come talk to me. That's who I am. Whereas before I wanted to be generic, you know, not power together. I wanted to, Monica Simmons, and now Monica Shupikai Simmons. You know what I mean? It's like all these things, they just kind of happened. And I knew my job was Africa, and I knew that's what I was supposed to do. And I knew, so yes, I made the switch because nobody did that. So if I went to any banks, all the big banks, all the big brands, yeah, they have Africa is part of Middle East something. The deals were going to be out of Dubai. Maybe they're going to be once a year. You know what I mean? It was just not what I wanted to do, which is to roll up my sleeves and really work with founders. I joined a boutique investment bank called Icon in London. And if you think of a hairdresser with different shops with different chairs in it, and you get your customers, but you're part of this umbrella, it was like that. So I came in and I was like, I'm starting an Africa practice. And I only want to do Africa deals. And the guy who owns it, a guy called Alan Bristow, was a legend, amazing guy. He was like, I don't care where you make your money. You can make your money in Timbuktu. You just need to make your revenue for the year. So I was like, excellent. If you have enough faith in me, I have enough faith in myself to kind of do this. So started from scratch, zero to doing really well, actually, and having a brand out there in the community and working with founders and just really getting to understand the ecosystem and understanding what they need and don't have. Pre-cancer, I say no to all the conferences, speaking agenda, all that stuff, because I was just focused on executing the transaction. I wanted to do the deal for my founder. I was focused on executing this thing for my founder. After I got sick, I was like, oh snap, I could die, right? I could die. So if I'm gonna die, I can't work on a 1-1 basis. That's crazy. There are like thousands of these people. So I started accepting conferences, writing articles, all the things that I used to say no to. I started saying yes. And I knew I had to write the book. I knew it. I knew it. I knew I had to. Because when I was sick, I used to say, I haven't reached the number of people I thought I would. I haven't helped the number of people I thought I would. So I started writing it when I was getting my chemo. I was like, chemo and typing. Because I was like, I need to get this book out because I need to get these founders to see how to do this. They needed to know what to look out for. And they need, all the tips, all the things I talked to them on a one-to-one basis. I wanted to get it all into a book, just get it into a book. It took 2 years because obviously I was not well. And then when I was well, I had life, right? Like trying to get back to work, my kids, life, everything. Part-time writing this thing for 2 years. And then when I wrote it, I got it out. And I'm still trying to get it into the hands of the founders. So even though it's on Amazon and stuff, it's not an Amazon book. It's a book for founders. Incubators and accelerators to buy it for their founders. So the founders have it.
Yeah. I think it's great. I actually have been recommending it to people.
I'm glad to hear that because it's a handbook. I want you to say, I'm thinking of valuation and go read up on valuation, or I'm getting a term sheet, or I'm thinking of starting a process and you go read. You know what I mean? I want it to be like that kind of, like a textbook. I told my mom I wanted to write a book when I was sick and she thought, oh dear God, Monica's writing a life story. It's to impart the knowledge that I think is necessary to be out there. And like, if you're an American founder, you just Google, the answers are for Google. But if you're African, those Google answers are not for you.
No.
They're not for you.
No.
You're not in Silicon Valley. You're not. So we need an African answer to African questions. And I was like, I know how to do this. I've been doing this nonstop for 6 years. Nobody knows this better than me. I know that for a fact. So I need to do it. I need to write this book. So that's what I did.
And it took you 2 years to write the book. Did you have anybody helping you, or did you just do it yourself? Did you do it at night? When did you find the time to write the book?
I did it. So one of the most interesting things is since I finished the book, I don't know what to do with myself. So I wrote every night on trains, on planes, on vacation, every day. So my kids would go to bed. I would work until 10, maybe, because that's just the tax. I used to work until about 10, and then I would do book from 10 to 1, maybe. If I was on a flight, I was 1000% writing. If I was on holiday, I was 1000% writing. So it was every inch of free time I had. And I remember after I submitted it to the editor, I remember sitting down on a plane. I had my first plane ride, and I was like, I guess I should watch a movie. And now I can't watch movies. I can't watch movies on planes. Everything in me is like, this is a waste of my time. Why am I spending 2.5 hours watching some crap? Like I could do something, because now I know the power of doing something productive. And I'm actually struggling to just relax. And my kids go to bed and I sit down and watch TV. I'm struggling.
So struggle with switching off And it's something that I am working on. I try to actively work on. There are some things that I have a force switch off mechanisms. So gardening is a really good one for me. I go into the garden, I leave my phone away. Sometimes I bring my phone so I can listen to audiobooks, podcasts. But gardening is something that just allows me to switch right off. And I'm very good at it. I love it. And in the spring and summer, I'll go on a Saturday and a Sunday, morning to night, I'll be in the garden, most weather types. The other thing I've recently discovered, painting by numbers, but listening to an audiobook while painting by numbers. The key being I have to get away from my devices. So it's not, social media for me is now like primarily about work, because most of my leads for Ask Chenai come through social media. I don't even like just casually, happily stroll anymore. It's work. So books are definitely like reading a book, gardening. And then when I talk about this going to church 4 times a week, there's the church Monday, Tuesday. That's how I start my day, the reset, the switch off. There's the Saturday night. It's non-negotiable. I help to organize this group of people who meet in a church. And then on a Sunday as well, it's like that going to church, that switching off. And being with my daughter really helps as well, because I try to be a really present mum. I go to the pool, I go swimming. I think one of the reasons why I love swimming as a form of exercise is because when you're in the pool, you don't take your headphones. I can't even, how some people say, oh, we're on a treadmill sending emails. I can't do that when I'm swimming. You're in the water, head down. You can't, there's no devices. My phone is in the locker and it's switched away. I need to separate
my favorite things to do are take long walks in nature and swim. Big time. Gardening is a passion. Like, you don't understand. And my frustration is everything dies. Don't even get me started. They die in the wind. It just kills me. So I wish I was back in Zimbabwe with the lawns. I spent some time with a friend in Johannesburg and I was just so jealous. Lush green, the garden looks incredible. Zim style, like manicured lips, lawns with like the flowers. And in England, you've got that for like 2 months and then it dies. It's heartbreaking, but I am passionate about gardening. And this is when I am retired, this is what I will be doing. There's no question. This is what I'll be doing. Swimming is from when I was a kid. I've been swimming since I was a kid. It's my thing. Even when I had cancer and I was on chemo, so that's when I started walking. I didn't really walk before, but walking was excellent until I had blisters. But swimming, always till today, swimming. So I do that as well. But what I can't do is at night, I'm at home. What do I do? Like it's now 9 p.m., kids in bed. What do I do? I don't have an answer for that. I really don't. And I am so open.
Have you thought about writing another book?
I'm actually worried about it. I think that's what's going to happen.
You can think by numbers. You can start a side hustle. You can always get an assistant from Ask Chenai to help you with a side hustle.
It's helped a couple of friends with like their fundraisers. So my mom thinks I'm crazy. So my family thinks I'm a workaholic, which I am. I'm not gonna lie. But that's because I like work. I like it. So it's not hard. I like it. So I do stuff anyway. But I just mean like, just relax. It's not that I've forgotten how to do it. It's like if it's not scheduled and has a structure, it's hard for me to just do nothing. And when I have my kids, it's great. But when I don't, oh my goodness, then I really struggle. But I'm working on it. And I'm glad I have you asked me what I was reading. I have a book called The Circle that I have started 4 times tonight. I can't get past chapter 1. And it's not because it's not good. The reviews on this book are outstanding. I have it on my bedside. I start it and I just go, I'm struggling. I'm telling you, I'm struggling to kind of really decompress. And I don't know, it is something I'm actively working on. So I clean up, so I'm a little OCD. I didn't get into that, but you know how we'll talk about spectrum. Everyone's spectrum.
We're not twins. If cleaning is your thing, we're not twins.
I love cleaning. Girl, I love cleaning. What? I want the whole ground floor, somebody dusting, flipping, sweeping, moving furniture, hoovering, wash the floor, the kitchen. I mean, and depends and exhale. I've done it, right? So like a before and after. It's like a cleanse even for me. I love it. And then I go, okay, now what? Now what?
No, I was gonna say maybe blogging. You can still write, but maybe it doesn't have to be like serious stuff. But the cleaning is clearly the Zimba menu coming out. your 16-year-old self and your 80-year-old self are sitting down to have dinner. What are we talking about? What are we eating? What are we wearing?
Oh dear. So okay, I'll start with the wearing one because that's easy. We're wearing black. My favorite color is black. I wear black all the time. There's this new movement online right now called We Do Not Care. And I always give it a thumb up because we do not care. I've been wearing black all my life. It's my favorite color. I wear it every time. I look good in colors. I don't like wearing colors. I like to wear black. So I'm wearing black. My 60-year-old self is probably wearing black as well. Black was jewelry. Yeah. Black was jewelry. And we're having a chat about the kids, what's happened with the kids, and it's like, Monica, don't worry, it's all going to be okay. So my 80-year-old self is telling my 60-year-old self that everything is going to be just fine and life is going to be fantastic. You do get to have those kids. You get to have the family you always wanted, just different from what you expected. So you do have to get those kids and they're doing great. You do get to have that career and you're doing great. And you do get to have love in your life, just not in the way you thought it would be. And you do get to travel and see the world, which is something I always wanted to do. And I do that a lot. I'm big on memories linked to travel. I actually love traveling. It's my thing. So you do get to do all of that. And guess what? You wrote a book, shock horror, and you just, you have had a positive impact. I believe in education. So even when I was 16, I believe in education, actually, because I always thought it unlocked a lot of things. Even then, I knew that. My parents used to emphasize it a lot. So I will talk about what I've done in the education space when I'm 80 to kind of help educate girls or children across the continent. That's the thing. Wait till you see my garden, 16-year-old self. Wait till you see my garden. Because I'm growing muriwo, tomatoes, and cabbage, and carrots. I'm growing it all, and the herbs and everything. Rosemary's still your favorite. So yeah, that's the kind of conversation we'll have.
I like that. And rosemary is my favorite too. I feel like it is just rosemary and everything. Maybe not eggs, but everything. Yeah, I absolutely love that. I would love to listen in on that conversation. What are we eating?
Oh God, it's probably vegetables, to be honest. Honestly, yeah. I'm sorry. Not. It's not exciting. Definitely. Some kind of like veggie goulash or something. Yeah, I'm big on that. Sorry?
Sadzani cabbage.
No, not sadza. I would, Shai, this is one thing we used to talk about as young ladies, by the way. We have too much sadza, too many carbs in our diet. Seriously, it's not good. It's not good for us. We always end up pre-diabetic, and it's not because we eat badly. It's because our culture says we need to eat sadza, and we don't. If you're going to eat sadza, you should have it at lunchtime, not dinner. So there's all these things. I love sadza, by the way. I love it. But I don't think we're having sadza on that. We're having a ton of veggies. So if you think about my plate these days, it's usually beans, some version of mixed beans, pinto beans, whatever kind of beans, and then some kind of veggies I cooked, like something like a goulash, like a vegetable curry kind of thing. And then some kind of salady, something. And then yama is like usually like a grilled meat, grilled chicken, grilled something. And you fill up and it's yummy, very, very yummy. Fantastic. I'm drinking tonic water because that's my thing. It's a weird one, but that's my thing.
Monica, this has been absolutely amazing, but we're not going to let you go without asking the signature question that is courtesy of Chenai, your weird little twin. So I love zombie movies. I love asking people this question as a way of understanding the inner recesses of their brains. So I want you to imagine that the zombie apocalypse is here. The zombies have arrived. They are taking over the world. You have 3 options. Option A is to say, do you know what? The zombies are going to win anyway. I think I just want to be turned into a zombie immediately. Yeah. Option B is to think, wow, the world in the zombie apocalypse really, really sucks. I have had enough fun in my life and I wish to no longer go further, and just end your life right there. And then option C is to look at those horrible tentacle-driven, slimy zombies running towards you and decide, you know what, I'm going to fight them. I'm going to fight and I'm going to try to live and survive in the zombie apocalypse. Monica, which one are you picking and why?
Oh, that's easy. I'm fighting to the death. I'm fighting to the death.
That's cool. I
to the death. I'll tell you why. Because whatever the answer is going to be, it's incremental. And I want to be part of that thing that moves that ball 1 inch. Right? So all I have to do is my little piece. So maybe I just kill one and then it kills me, but I'll give it space for somebody else to go past. You know what I mean? I'm all about like the bigger picture. I told you this, I'm a big picture person. So big picture works when everybody does their piece. So you die fighting, die fighting.
How are you fighting, Monica? But in this scenario, I'm always telling people you don't get to imagine yourself as someone who you aren't. Like if you haven't been to the gym in a year, that's the body you're taking to the zombie apocalypse. You're in your house, so don't be like, I have a grenade. There are no grenades in your house now. So
No.
what are you fighting with? What's your weapon of choice?
Knife.
A knife.
1000% knife. So it's up close. It's not far. This is like, oh, I'm not scared. So you know what Ozzy does? We talked about my cat. Ozzy brings us gifts. Lord help us. So he brings us dead mice and then not so dead mice, dead birds, not so dead birds, dead frogs, dead fish. But the point I'm trying to get at is I've seen things that make people, you know how people, spider. No, we don't, I don't worry about any of that. I'm highly likely to see a half-dead mouse in my house. And so the things that I used to think I would be scared of, I'm not scared of anymore. So I'm not scared of up close gore, a bird that's been ripped apart with like parts open, like all of that stuff. I'm not worried about that. So I'm not scared of being up close to something and going, oh dear. Like, no, I'm not scared like that. I'm not scared of approaching that. That's what I'm gonna get at. So it's a knife, boy. It's a knife, and I'm killing my one zombie.
I believe you. A lot of people I ask that question start talking about, I'm going to do kung fu, karate, chan. Do you know what? I actually believe. I believe that in the moment the zombie is like 2 inches away from your face, that you're going to be in it to win it.
There. And if we start being creative, we're sticking a knife at the end of a broomstick. I mean, I am creative, but it's the knife. It's the knife. It's got to be the knife. Stab. Eye. In the eye.
And with all the veggies you're eating, you're healthy enough to maintain this fight. So that's
You know what I'm
good.
saying?
Yeah, and there's not much to miss, you know. Vimbai and I both picked option B because I'm like, that zombie world, it doesn't look that great anyway. I'm not sure about fighting to live there. But you'll be fine because you can just grow your carrots and eat goulash.
Oh, that's right. Look, every movie you've watched the end has been like, you know what I mean? It's incremental. You know what I mean? I used to watch all the Terminator movies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Even when it looks like there's the last 100 people, you fight to the death because there's still a way you can figure it out, even if you're down to the last 100. Even if you're down to the last 100 people, you can figure this out. You will figure it out, but you got to live to figure it out. And I'm part of the let's help somebody live to figure it out. I'd like to be the figure out person, but if I can't, then I'm going to help those people live to figure it out. That's the role.
So noble, so wholesome. Monica, once again, proving why you are the G. Monica, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you.
And you are
That's easy. I'm fighting to the death. I'll tell you why. Whatever the answer is going to be, it's incremental. And I want to be part of that thing that moves that ball 1 inch. Right? So all I have to do is my little piece. So maybe I just kill one and then it feels me, but I'll give it space for somebody else to move past. Do you know what I mean? I'm all about like the bigger picture. I told you I'm a big picture person. So big picture works when everybody does their piece. So you die fighting. You die fighting. Die fighting.
How are you fighting, Monica? But in this scenario, I'm always telling people you don't get to imagine yourself as someone who you aren't. Like if you haven't been to the gym in a year, that's the body you're taking to the zombie apocalypse. You're in your house, so don't be like, I have a grenade. There are no grenades in your house now. So
No.
what are you fighting with? What's your weapon of choice?
Knife.
A knife.
1000% knife. So it's up close. It's not far. So you know what Ozzy does? We talked about my cat. Ozzy brings us gifts. Lord help us. So he brings us dead mice and then not so dead mice, dead birds, not so dead birds, dead frogs, dead fish. But the point I'm trying to get at is I've seen things that make people, you know how people, spider. No, we don't. I don't worry about any of that. I'm highly likely to see a half-dead mouse in my house. And so the things that I used to think I would be scared of, I'm not scared of anymore. So I'm not scared of up close gore, a bird that's been ripped apart with like parts open, like all of that stuff. I'm not worried about that. So I'm not scared of like being up close to something and going, oh dear. Like, no, I'm not scared like that. I'm not scared of approaching that. That's what I'm gonna get at. So it's a knife, boy. It's a knife, and I'm killing my one zombie.
I believe you. A lot of people I ask that question start talking about, I'm going to do kung fu, karate, chan. Do you know what? I actually believe. I believe that in the moment the zombie is like 2 inches away from your face, that you're gonna be in it to win it.
I am there. I am there. And if we start being creative, we're sticking a knife at the end of a broomstick. I mean, it's the knife. It's the knife. It's got to be the knife. Stab, stab. Eye. In the eye.
And with all the veggies you're eating, you're healthy enough to maintain this fight. So that's
You know what I'm
good.
saying?
Yeah, and there's not much to miss, you know. Vimbai and I both picked option B because I'm like, that zombie world, it doesn't look that great anyway. I'm not sure about fighting to live there. But you'll be fine because you can just grow your carrots and eat goulash.
I know, that's right. Look, every movie you've watched has the end has been like, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like it's incremental. You know what I mean? I used to watch all the Terminator movies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Terminator 2. That's one of my favorite movies.
Even when it looks like there's that last 100 people, you fight to the death because there's still a way you can figure it out. Even if you're down to the last 100 people, you can figure this out. You will figure it out, but you got to live to figure it out. And I'm part of the let's help somebody live to figure it out. I'd like to be the figure out person, but if I can't, then I'm going to help those people live to figure it out. That's the role.
So noble, so wholesome. Monica, once again, proving why you are the G. Monica, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as we have. And
So much thank you.
And you are reminding us so much. You're reminding us about finding your purpose. You're reminding us about the importance of listening to your voice when you're feeling a calling, a connection to doing something for people back home, both in the work that you do, you know, advising founders, writing your book, but even in your hypothetical scenario of staving off the zombies for the next
Give us a chance.
to give us a chance. Yeah. To everyone listening, if this conversation stirred something in you, share it. Send it to somebody who you think would enjoy it. We will put the link to Monica's fabulous book in the description of the podcast below. And we're also going to put links to her personal profile if you want to learn more about Monica Shupikai Simmons. We'll be back next week with another extraordinary guest and another real conversation. Until then, stay bold, stay kind, and ask yourself, what's the deal? You're listening to Extraordinary Conversations with Ask Chenai. But have you actually asked Chenai yet? If you're living with ADHD, you know the real problem isn't laziness. You're smart, you're capable, but ADHD makes work harder than it should be. For brilliant minds with ADHD, the biggest barrier isn't ideas, it's follow-through. You know what needs doing, but starting feels impossible. At Ask Chenai, we get it, and that's where we come in. We support high-performing professionals with ADHD who are tired of struggling with time, admin, and attention overload. You don't need another app. You need a human who gets you. We help people with ADHD thrive with support that understands ADHD and gets stuff done. We're not here to fix your ADHD. We're here to work with it and make your life less chaotic. We match you with trained virtual assistants, not just people to manage your calendar, but people who can gently chase, remind, prioritize, and break things into steps you can actually action. Our packages start at just £159 per month. We're not your ordinary virtual assistants. We're extraordinary virtual assistants for extraordinary minds. Visit www.askchenai.com or email sales@askchenai.com to find out more. Let's help you build a system that sticks.